You, my brother, what's your name, my brother? You have a purpose, okay? Now, if a brother came up and asked you, hey, what's your purpose that God has set for you? How would you reply to that man? How would you reply? Love, music, and peace. Okay, love, music, and peace is great, but is that going to get our people as a whole out of the condition that we're in, the ghettos, the slum?
No, it won't.
Okay, let me show you your purpose that God has for you, okay? Because if you look on the back of that flyer, and it says the tribe of Gad, right? Okay, the tribe of Gad are Israelites. Okay, let me show you this. The tribe of Gad, give me Exodus 19:6, and then we're going to show you about the tribe of Gad.
This is the book of Exodus.
And we're going into your purpose, all right?
Chapter 19, verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests.
What?
A kingdom of priests.
A kingdom of priests. But before that, do you understand that you're a Gadite? Come over here, brother, because I want to have a discourse with you. We want to talk and we want to look each other in the eye and have effective communication. So if you look on that flyer, it says Gad, right? What does it say about the tribe of Gad? Give me Genesis 49. And we're going to show the brother about what happened to the tribe of Gad in the book of Genesis 49. I see you got the totem. You got different. You have different amulets on your neck. You got Jesus Christ in three different forms, right? Okay. You know what happened? You know about the tear trails, the Trail of Tears. What do you know about the Frontier Army? You know the Frontier Army were the so-called white men that destroyed the Gadites, the Northern American Indians, with the Gatling gun, with the 6th Cavalry, the 1st Cavalry, who later, before that, was called the Frontier Army. Let's look at a little history about Genesis 49, talking about the Gadites, who you are. Let's read.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him.
It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him. Hey, my sister, hey, my sister right here. This brother here is from the tribe of Gad. I want you to look at this sign and tell me where your father's from. But we're dealing with the Gadites right now, so Gad, check this out.
But he shall...
It says what and what?
Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
Okay, Gadite. My brother, what's your name again? Nick. What troop overcame the Gadites? Because here in the book of Genesis, this is a prophecy about your forefathers that a troop would what?
A troop would overcome him.
What troop was that overcame the Gadites? 1800s. You know a little history. What do you know about Andrew Jackson? Oh, but there's a troop in, I just mentioned it early before we start, the Frontier Army, right? Frontier Army, later Andrew Jackson, the 1st Cav, 6th Cav, destroyed the Gadites. What do you know about the Gatling gun? You know a little history? You know a little history about the Gadites? Did you look on that sign, sis? Where's your father from? Don't go nowhere, Nick. We're still dealing with the Gadites. You're going to get this history, brother. You need to know this and take this back to your people. All right? So read that on. Let's read on.
Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
But he shall overcome at the last. Once the Gadites begin to wake up. So who's Moses talking to here? He's talking to the children of Israel. Give me that in Deuteronomy 1:1. Okay? Because you got to understand, how did the Gadites fall? Why did the Gadites fall? Why did the Gadites fall in combat? Because that's why we ended up here. Every last one of you brothers and sisters here, this sister right here, why are we here? Because our forefathers fell in combat. Why did we fall in combat? Because God was not with us. Okay, we're gonna get a little history on why did God depart from the Israelites, and later, but with the fall came captivity, right? Because once you are defeated in military conquest, what happens to the people? What happens to the people, Nick? Hey, somebody get Nick a mic, because we're going to be talking to Nick for a minute. Maybe about a good 10 minutes. Nick, what happens in combat when you lose a combat battle?
Become a slave.
You become a what?
A slave.
Hey, my sister. Oh, you're on the phone. You become a slave. You become a captive. You become a refugee, right? That's what happened to us. Okay, read on.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Nick, he's got it. We're going to have a discourse here, Nick.
These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So Nick, Moses is speaking to all Israel. So we know that that a troop has overcome the Gadites, the so-called North American Indians. The troop that Andrew Jackson we're talking about, the 6th Cav, the Frontier Army that destroyed them, right? But why did that happen? Why were the armies destroyed? Give me that Judith 5:19. Judith 5:19. Because God, once we keep God's commandments, God is going to fight for us. But once we get away from God's commandments, It's total devastation. All right, you got that? Judith started 5 and 19 in the Apocrypha. Judith 5 and 19. We're going to get a little historical reference. What happens to the Israelites when we get away from God's laws? Got that?
This is a book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 19. But now are they returned to their God, and are come up from the places where they which were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate.
So this is talking about the Israelites. Read on. We want to get down to 20.
Now therefore, my Lord and Governor.
So this is a historical battle that's about to take place, and the enemy is surveying Israel. This is a surveying, and they're about to throw down. So this is what he's saying about us.
If there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
This shall be their ruin, right? How is it that this will be their ruin? Let's go to 2 Chronicles 5 and 20. And then, Nick, we're going to give you a little history of what happened to the Gadites, because you see what you got on? Christianity, those are emblems that were given to your people in captivity. That was forced on you by Catholicism, by Trail of Tears, miseducation, boarding schools. That was forced on the Native American Indians. You know about the history, what was going on. They were beating you down if you didn't bow down to that white man Jesus. This image right here, this is a false image of Christ. Kill the Indian, save the man. So what they do, how did you do that? How do you kill the Indian, save the man, Nick?
Kill the male, impregnate the female, and take their...
So kill your nationality, kill your religion, give you this, right? Once they give you this, they give you Catholicism, white man Jesus. Jesus died for everyone, right? But that's not the case. The real image of Christ is what we find here in Revelations 1 and 14. All right, so we got that? And Judith 5 and 20. If there be any sin or iniquity, my Lord and Governor pass by. But if there be any iniquity or sin in this people, will be their ruin. So we know what sin is, right? What is sin?
When you don't obey the word of God.
Okay, say it again.
Don't obey the word of God when you fight against your own kind or your own. When you fight against your own.
Okay, let's get the Bible definition of sin. All right, 1 John 2 and 9. Okay, 3:4.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 3, and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is transgression of the law.
So sin is a transgression of the law. So remember when we read in Judah, it said as if people be in sin, what? Bypass. So let's go back to 1 Chronicles. Let's show what happens when we're in sin, what happens with the Most High God. 5 and 18.
This is the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 5 and verse 18. The sons of Reuben and the Gadites.
The who?
And the Gadites.
So this is the book of Chronicles, during the Chronicles of Israel as they went forth to battle. This is ancient history right here, and let's see how the Most High God moved when the Gadites, who you are, went into battle. Check it out.
And half the tribe of Manasseh, of valiant men, able to bear buckler and sword, and to shoot with bow, and skillful in war.
Hey, weren't the ancient Gadites, even your forefathers, weren't they skillful in war on the horseback, shooting bows and arrows on the ride, side, saddle, all that? They was getting busy. They were shutting down the frontier army. They were putting the hurt until they developed a Gatling gun. But they were putting the hurt on them. Now drop down to verse 22. Verse 22, let's go.
Verse 22, for there fell down many slain, because the war was of God.
Because what?
Because the war was of God.
Now go back to Judah. Because remember, what did that king say? The war, if we can defeat them if they're in sin, right? Okay, so you, Nick, are an Israelite. You have to come back to your true laws, your true statutes, and your true heritage, who you are. Because remember, the so-called Gadites were immersed in massive idolatry. Where did that idolatry come from?
Idolizing other gods.
Other gods, and when did it start?
From like agriculture.
It goes way back. It goes further than that, Nick. It goes back to the time of the Assyrian captivity. You know about the ancient Assyrians?
No.
Okay, let's go to 1 King. You got that? You got that? 4 and 10, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 10. For they shall eat and not have enough. They shall commit whoredom.
Start at verse 9.
Verse 9. And there shall be like people, like priests, and I will punish them for their ways.
So this is going into your forefathers. Now, when they were on the temples of some of the ancient Mayans and Incas and Aztecs, but you Gadite, doing your temples, even right here in Berkeley, you have Albany Hill. That's an ancient, that's an old ancient temple that the Gadites would worship, and is also a burial ground. What do you think they were doing up there on those temples?
Worshipping other gods.
You think they were doing what?
Worshipping other gods.
You think there were any sacrifices of individuals going on? Let's get a biblical account of that. This is Bible right here. This is your history. But you have to break away from that old ways, that old Babylonian ways, the old Assyrian ways, the old ways of the captive that had you captives with you during the time of the Assyrians, which we'll hit. The captivity and what was going on in these temples, 8 and 13.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 8 and verse 13. They sacrifice flesh for the sacrifices of mine offerings, and eat it, but the Lord accepteth them not. Now will he remember their iniquity and visit their sins. They shall return to Egypt.
They shall return to Egypt. What is he? So what was going on with the so-called Gadites? They were worshiping idols, sacrificing unto gods, sacrificing human flesh, because you're an Israelite. But once you got away from God's laws, it says your sins did what? Read that one more time for Nick.
Their sins, they shall return to Egypt.
It says you shall return to Egypt. So Nick, what is the definition of Egypt in the Bible? Because of sin, you shall return to Egypt. You know anything about the 10 Commandments, Nick?
A little bit. I believe they're saying return to God.
Return to God, so let's get that. What does return to Egypt mean to Nick and his people?
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
What is Egypt synonymous with? Because remember, the Bible is its own dictionary and its own thesaurus. So we're going to read it one more time and listen to the key words. It says, "You shall return to Egypt.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage."
So what is Egypt synonymous with? So when you had Christopher Columbus, Hernan Cortez, the frontier army, when they took the Gadites captives and defeated them, what did they do with them?
Bring them back to Egypt?
Egypt, and Egypt is what?
Bondage.
Bondage is what?
Bondage is slavery, captivity.
There you go. With bondage and captivity, now with that comes miseducation. White man Jesus. God loves everybody. Love me, worship me, do my bidding. Give me your money, give me your land. I'm going to give you a casino and give you a little bit of tax money when this land belongs to the Gadites. Every bit of it, from California to Mexico.
They sacrifice flesh for the sacrifices of mine offerings, and eat it, but the Lord accepteth them not. Now will he remember their iniquity and visit their sins. They shall return to Egypt.
So we are in Egypt right now, brother. Would you agree that we're in bondage? We're in captivity. Nick, we're in bondage, we're in captivity. So you as men, both of you as men, what do you need to do to get out of this bondage, out of captivity? I asked you earlier, what's your purpose? What is your purpose? You know that you're an Israelite, brother? Okay. So now we're going to look at, give me 1 Corinthians 2 Corinthians 11 and 4. He that come teacheth another Jesus. So we got some images on there, on your neck, right? See, the brother got these images. Who are those images right there, Nick? Who you got on your neck? You got Jesus on your neck? Is that what Jesus looked like? So why you got Jesus, that Jesus piece, you got 3 of them on your neck? Gosh, oh, this sad, you got 3. So, let's check this out. Check this out. Let me show you what you're dealing with, Nick.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 4. For if he that cometh preaches another Jesus.
Who is the he that came teaching another Jesus. Look at this, Nick. This is another Jesus. This was given to you during your trip back to Egypt. White man Jesus. Miseducation. Catholic, Catholicism, Protestantism, Methodist, all those. And they teach what? The same white man Jesus. Is that what Jesus looks like? Read on. Boarding schools. Boarding schools. There you go. Brainwashing. Brain raping. Let's read on.
Whom we have not preached.
So the apostles never taught this. Our forefathers never taught this image of Christ. Look at that, Nick. Read on.
Or if you receive another spirit, which ye have not received.
Notice that when everyone believes in Christianity, my brother, what's your name, bro? Eddie. Notice when America goes to different countries, the first thing they try to do is first push democracy. Once democracy comes, Christianity. And when Christianity comes, homosexuality, feminism, give me some other ones, brother, help a brother out. Democrat, all kind of debauchery. Capitalism. And other nations say, to hell with that, and I'll get out of my country.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.